Hello and welcome back to the opening kickoff. The intro is going to have to be a little different now that I've got to think of words. Hello, welcome back to the opening kickoff, your favorite NFL show to watch, not every week because it's off season, but right now. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode, and yeah.
We're back on Thursdays? Do your homework?
This is Thursday.
This will go up on Thursday. It might not be at noon.
Probably not, but
it'll be 2 probably. Sometimes videos take forever to download, and sometimes they take instant. Yeah. So we shall see.
And sometimes we're supposed to record on a certain day, and then one of us forgets that we were supposed to, and then gets drunk and during bowling.
Do your homework. Well, how have you felt about this free agency so far?
Yo, can y'all shut up, bro?
No, lay down.
I felt really good about this free agency. The Vikings have been going crazy. We haven't signed Aaron Rodgers, which is exactly what I want to see. But I would say our interior offensive and defensive line were are both of our biggest problems last season, and I think we've gotten a lot of the best guys available. We got Hargrave, we got Jonathan Allen, we got Will Fries, we got Ryan Kelly, we re-signed Aaron Jones. J.J. McCarthy is literally being set up for like the perfect situation. So if he can just play, if he can literally play at like a Kirk Cousins level, I think.
What do you think about like so in the NBA, J.J. McCarthy would be considered a rookie next year?
Yeah, I thought about stuff like that.
I don't get why the NFL doesn't do that. Like if
JJ
balls out, if
Jordan Love, like when Jordan Love came in his like third
it's not
year.
Injury. It's just injury is the difference. So if a guy misses season due to injury, but at the same time, there were rumors that Sam Darnold was going to start at the beginning.
I don't know.
I
mean, because he's not a rookie. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's still been in the NFL. He's still been practicing.
Still younger than Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
And Bo Nix was.
He's going to be 22 going into the season. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
I will say though, I wouldn't have hated us signing Sam Darnold to what the Seahawks gave him. But I think if we did do that, we wouldn't have been able to make all the signings that we've been making.
It's J.J. McCarthy season.
It's J.J. McCarthy season.
He'd run through a brick wall.
He's going to be the best quarterback to ever come out of Michigan.
Hey, Harbaugh did say he's the best Michigan quarterback ever.
He's going to be the best Vikings quarterback ever.
Yeah, I mean, all he has to do is win. All he has to do
if he wins a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's all he has to do. Which all you have to do. Like that's
I will miss Sammy D, though. He'll always be. As much as I shit on him this year, like he'll always be a Vikings legend.
Vikings legend, dude. Like he turned a nothing season into one of the most fun Viking seasons in a while.
I mean, and I think the reason he came to Minnesota was like, okay, you're probably not going to be our long-term starter, but we're going to try to get you a starting job somewhere else, and that's exactly what he got.
And did you see the Mac Jones to the 49ers signing?
Yeah, I sent that to you. It all comes full circle. That's who they wanted when they took Trey Lance, I think.
Really?
Yeah, that's what Kyle Shanahan said.
Wow. So do you think? Obviously, they're not giving. So there's comments being like, "Oh, they're trading Purdy." I'm like, y'all are so dumb. Why would they trade Purdy still on a rookie deal?
If they were to trade Purdy, they wouldn't. Obviously, they're not going to trade Purdy anyway. But they wouldn't sign Mac Jones.
Yeah.
They'd go get a Kirk Cousins.
I do wonder though if Mac Jones gets to learn some and then he gets an opportunity.
I mean, he didn't play terrible in Jacksonville.
And he was not that bad on the think about how bad the freaking Patriots are.
I don't know. I think his first year on the Patriots, he was decent, but the next couple years he was pretty bad. But like you said, the Patriots just never had much talent for him to work with.
Never. His best receiver is Kendrick Bourne every year.
Yeah.
Crazy. The Buccaneers offseason, so we talked about the Vikings. Buccaneers, it's just the same shit. Like, remember when they didn't franchise tag Chris Godwin? You're like, oh no. I'm like, we re-sign our players. Like, that's the thing about the Bucs is they are very, very good at keeping their players happy. If Chris Godwin is like
any other person, though, y'all lose him.
We did have to pay a little more than we wanted to, but he took.
But
he took 15 something.
I'm saying if it's not Chris Godwin and it's some other player that is going to value money more, y'all don't get him back because he left so much money on the table.
He did. He left like $20 million not going.
Yeah,
to
I think New England was offering him like 48 a year or something. Not 48 a year, but
it was something crazy. It was like he would have been a top 10 paid receiver.
Cooper Kupp is going to be a Patriot. Like the Patriots
have thrown bags at everybody.
The Patriots wanted to go for all these receivers. They had all this hype going into the offseason, haven't gotten one.
I could see Cooper Kupp potentially being a Panther too.
Maybe, yeah, because the Panthers have been trying to buy receivers too. They try to get DK.
Yeah.
I mean,
they said they're going all in on a wide receiver. This is their last chance. But Cooper Kupp hasn't been signed yet, but he just got released yesterday.
I saw a thing. It was like Dallas is not in the mix for Cooper Kupp. It was like a shocker.
Yeah, for real. So,
anyways, talk more about the Bucs offseason.
I'm really disappointed that we haven't brought in a corner. There's some really good corners. You have the guy from the Saints. I can't think of his name. Number one, Adebo.
He already got signed.
Who did he get signed to?
The Giants.
See,
he got signed early. It just didn't get really posted or talked about.
See, but we didn't we could have got him. We could have got Darius Slay. Like we're desperate at corner. Like Zion McCollum had a great year, but when he had to play cornerback 1, he got torched.
Y'all should have gotten Javarius Ward.
Dude, if we would have got one guy and then we have a 1A, 1-2 with Jamel Dean, which I hate Jamel Dean, but he could be a 1B on a team or a 1A with another good corner, Zion in the slot or Tyke Smith.
You know who still hasn't gotten signed? Stephon Gilmore.
I mean, dude, somebody. But I do like our one signing we've made.
I really like those on Reddick signing.
I do too. We needed an edge.
Before his little stint in New York where he didn't play half the season trying to work with a contract, he had 4 double-digit sack seasons in a row. And pass rushers, that's not a position where you just, like, forget how to play football.
I am a little sad because there was a little bit when they said Diaby and Chris Broswell is going to be the edge, and I was like, I do want to see what Chris Broswell got. He was such a dog at Bama, bro. Chris Broswell was probably one of the highest. I think he was like the second-range edge rusher in the draft last year, but he happened to fall to the second round just because of how quarterback and offensive heavy it was. I still can't believe like we did not utilize him at all. But Yaya Diaby and Hassan Reddick, Diaby balled out second half of the season this year.
And I mean, if Chris Broswell is really that good, like they would have noticed in camp and he would have been a starter by now. But I think if he is decent enough, though, like still having a pass rusher to be rotated into is always helpful.
Jacob, too, he's like, we signed Tyron Sriwonka or whatever, however you pronounce his name. I was like, Jacob, he sucks. And he's like, really? I thought he was pretty good. Like, I don't think he's had like over 4 sacks his career.
I mean,
former first-round pick, too.
Yeah, no, he's kind of been a bust, but I don't know. I think he could definitely make something work. He's been on the Chiefs. They just have a lot of right? He was a Chief. I'm not making that up.
He was a Buccaneer.
Treon Chouenko. Did he get drafted to the Chiefs?
No, he got drafted to us first round.
What am I thinking of then?
I have no clue what you're thinking of.
I don't know. It's somebody with like a double last name with a hyphen.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
But I can't. I don't know. I guess
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Treon Chouenko is a bum.
He's we knew his second name. Oh my God, what's that dude's name?
But he's been a bust. That's who I was thinking of. I don't know why.
Like his first name's Charles or something. That's gonna drive me crazy. Charles Onua or something like that.
I think you're thinking of Charles Ominahu, but I don't think he's on the Chiefs.
Oh, he's on the Patriots, huh?
I don't know. We're just casuals,
dude. And also too,
it's just like bro, role players and like bums. Like I'm not paying attention to y'all. Like also, I'm not a PFF guy. I'm not watching like the offensive and defensive line every play. Like I'm not.
I mean, Buccaneers. I watch film like the following day every day, so I can name all Buccaneers players just because I watch so much. And that's why I think too I'm so much lower on Jamel Dean. But I don't get that. How do coaches on the Bucs? I watch probably Bucs film not as much as like a Buccaneers coach. Of course, they watch 10 times the amount. But more than any Buccaneers fan probably. And every Bucs fan is like, Jamel Dean sucks. But they don't see it. So maybe they see something
I personally just think you don't give Jamel Dean enough credit because playing corner with no pass rush is nearly impossible.
You know what I think? I think Jamel Dean would, if we let him play slot corner or something where he got to, not have to run. If somebody runs a go-round on Jamel Dean, it's a catch. But Jamel Dean's a good soft coverage corner and a great tackler. If we can play him at that slot corner, that's what he played when he was young.
I personally think if Hassan Reddick comes in and plays how he was playing in Philly, you will realize that Jamel Dean's not as bad as you think. Y'all have had no pass rush at all. You can't play corner with no pass rush.
No, I agree.
You know how hard it is to guard a receiver for 4 or 5 seconds? Like, obviously there's corners.
I bring up the Broncos game every time and he plays such soft cut. But also, too, it's the coaching. Bro just brought in Annie his bra. Dude.
Wow.
That's so funny. No, yeah, but besides that, I mean, we brought back all our guys. We're a championship roster.
I watched this video the other day, and it was like 5 quarterbacks that will win a Super Bowl in the next 10 years and 5 that won't. And it said that Baker won't, but then there was one in there that said they will, and it was like Jared Goff or something like that. I was like, okay, I think Baker has a better chance than Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff has a better chance because of his roster.
What's funny is, so I was so low on the Lions coming in last year, saying like that was their year. I'm gonna be low on the Lions this year too, which they proved me wrong.
I just feel like the Lions are going to make the Super Bowl eventually with the roster they have right now.
Dude, they're the Lions. Like,
I mean, if they
change the culture in Detroit though, for sure.
If they do what they did the last 2 seasons this year, where they are one of the best regular seasons team and then fold in the playoffs, I think they'll just kind of go down as chokers.
Yeah. Do you think if they traded Jared Goff for Stafford in a first or something crazy like that, do you think Stafford could lead that roster to a championship?
I don't know.
Could you imagine Amon-Ra and Stafford together? Holy shit. Or you think Jared Goff fits the scheme better?
I really like Stafford. I think Goff plays really well in the system because when Goff plays bad, he turns the ball over a lot. But when Goff isn't playing bad, he doesn't really turn the ball over.
He's lights out.
When Matt Stafford's playing good. He's still very capable of turning the ball
Matt
over.
Stafford's best games, he has a pick every
Exactly.
time.
So I just think with Jared Goff's best games being these really high completion percentage, no interception games, I think he fits the Lions scheme a little bit better.
Perfect. Go ahead and pull. You said you had the NFL app, so we can go through the signings. Obviously, the first big one that would happen, I would say, was Geno for a third, which is fucking amazing for the Raiders.
I think it's good on both ends. I just think the Seahawks personally are taking the wrong approach because, I think the Seahawks are taking the wrong approach because I do get moving on from Geno because I think it was kind of time for them to rebuild.
Agreed.
I think especially once DK requested a trade, it was like, okay, it's time to rebuild. But going for somebody like Sam Darnold,
That's
when
what
you
I don't
rebuild,
get. That's a championship roster guy. Like, that's a guy you bring when you have a championship roster, I feel like.
I don't even necessarily think that. I just think so. Sam Darnold, the last 2 games of the season, struggled because he was under pressure the whole entire game. And the Seahawks offensive line was one of the worst offensive lines in the league last year. And I just think there's 0 chance that Sam Darnold performs the same he did in Minnesota with one.
And they didn't improve their interior O-line at all.
They haven't signed anybody. With one receiving target and the worst interior offensive line in the league, I just think the Seahawks are setting themselves up to be in the same exact position they were with Geno, where they're 9-8, 10-7 every year. Don't win Super Bowls, but don't get any good draft picks.
Do you think Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to have, like...
Oh, he'll have a good season.
Do you think, like, but is he going to take that final, like, that, like, he took a big leap this year,
I think he
course.
already took that leap last year, but I mean, if you're talking like taking a leap up into the first tier of receivers, like the Pukas, the Justin Jefferson, Jamars, I think it's definitely possible, but I think with Sam Darnold in that offensive line, it's definitely going to hold back
all
his
the
numbers a
Ohio
little
State
bit.
guys that, like, remember Ohio State had, like, studs, like, 6 years in
Yeah.
a row? All of them say Jackson Smith and Jigba's the best. All of them.
JSN
Garrett
is a
Wilson.
dog.
All of them say, like, I always thought JSN was
But
the
they
best.
haven't got their receiver 2 right now is like Jake Bobo.
Jake Bobo's a dog, though.
I like Jake Bobo,
but he's a
like,
wide receiver 3.
Exactly. I'm just saying, I think they would have been better like just starting Sam Howell or something and just tanking for a good draft
I
pick.
saw a Jake Bobo edit, and it was like, I'm Jay Money. Fuck. It was so
That's
hard.
so funny. Speaking of Ohio State, we're going to get to watch Justin Fields throw the ball to Garrett Wilson.
That's cool. That's really cool. That's a cool reunion. I'm very curious on. It kind of sucks he went to the Jets. Like, I'm so happy he got his bag, but he's going to like kind of one of the worst situations right now.
I don't completely agree.
Who do they bring in as their coach? Are they still
Aaron
not?
Glenn, the DC from the Lions.
Oh, that's so
And
good. That's so good.
Here's why I
dude.
like the Jets situation.
That's
okay?
so good. I
first
forgot
off,
about
I
that.
think me and you can both agree that firing Saleh midseason last year wasn't the problem. I don't think Robert Saleh was the issue. The Jets had a top 5 defense in the league before firing Saleh, and then after Saleh was whenever their defense kind of hit that cliff. I think bringing in a defensive guy like Aaron Glenn is going to revive that defense back to what we know it as. And if they could draft like a Ted McMillan in the first round, or what's that really good tight end's name? Hunter.
Which one? Out of where? Out of LSU?
What is his name? Oh my goodness, this is gonna piss me off.
There's a really good tight end out of LSU who's first round projection, like Mason's. No, that's Mason Graham.
I'm just gonna look up his name because this is pissing me off. Tyler Warren.
Yes, out of Penn
If they
State.
could-
Out of Penn State,
Yeah.
right?
If they could get a Tyler Warren, I think they should really take Ted McMillan. They could have had Brock Bowers last year and they didn't take him, which I think was a
No,
mistake.
I
but-
think everybody has the Chargers getting Tyler Warren.
Yeah, well, I could see that too. But even Ted McMillan, I think Ted McMillan's probably the best receiver prospect in the draft class. If
He's
he
one
could
of the
get-
best receiver
and they're-
prospects we've had in a fucking minute.
And
dude. He's a good dog.
Fashanu's going to be back from injury this season. I think they beefed up that offensive line a little bit more for Rodgers originally, but I think he'll have a defense. Oh my goodness, a decent offensive line to work with. Breece Hall kind of had a down year last year, but I still think Breece Hall's great. And
Yeah,
if they
Breece
could
Hall's a dog.
give him one more receiving option, I think the offense will look pretty good with Fields, and then having a really good defense on the other side of the ball.
Breece Hall needs a little bit of a committee. Like
He needs another back.
He needs another back, which I don't think
He needs,
that's
like-
not an insult. Like, it's so hard to be a Derrick Henry, but Derrick
Yeah.
Henry needs a justice.
I don't
you know?
disagree. I think they need a Najee Harris type of player. Like, obviously, maybe not on the same skill level as Najee Harris, but somebody where when you need 1 or 2 yards, somebody who's all they have to do is lay down and reach across.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why Rashad White's such a dog too, because Rashad White's like 6'1" or some crazy
No, I really
shit.
like. That's why I wanted us to get Najee even after we brought back Aaron Jones. Is I just think having 2 running backs that can do different things is just so valuable to an NFL
the
team.
Lions.
One of the first big trades. The first one was deep. Yeah, just do that real quick. One of the first big trades. The first one was Debo, but we can talk about that in a second. I want to talk about Joe Tooney to the Bears. I think that was an absolute steal. They gave up like
Fourth.
a 26 fourth.
A next year fourth too.
Next
Wow.
year fourth for Joe Tooney.
Wow.
He was a guard for Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes as a Super Bowl champion. Dude, the Bears.
He went to 3 Super Bowls for 2 different
The
teams.
Bears also got Drew Dahlman from the Falcons, one of the best centers in the league.
Yeah.
And then they got the guard from L.A. I can't remember his name. Not
Zion
Avila.
Johnson?
I don't remember.
I think it was Zion Johnson, or it might have not been. But I know who you're talking about. They brought in some dogs.
They beefed up that offensive line. I think.
J.C. Jackson.
No, I'm just gonna look it up, bro. Oh, this shit's pissing me off now. I just sound so dumb.
It was J.C. It was somebody that what's the name was familiar with.
It was
From the
somebody.
Lions.
It was,
I think it was J.C.
somebody
Jackson.
from the Rams.
I think it was J.C. Jackson.
Jonah Jackson.
Hey, I know ball. I was close.
But yeah, I like the Joe Tooney trading, and then we could also talk about the Debo trade. That was basically the first big move of the offseason.
Such a good trade.
I
Debo for a
think it's
5th. You do that
personally-
if you have money. You do that every day of the week.
Yeah, I think it's good for both sides because the reason they got him at such low value is because they're taking on that contract that he's getting. But I mean, if Debo has been struggling on the ground, because I mean, one of the best things about having Debo and why he was worth so much money was because he was like a dual threat player, and he kind of lost a step in the ground game. But if he could find like his stride running the ball and being a receiver for the Commanders, I think if Cliff Kingsbury could scheme him well, like Terry McLaurin was basically Jaden Daniels' only target other than like Zach Ertz on third down.
Yeah.
Getting him another target, if Debo can get 800, 900 receiving yards, and
Shut the door for a
and
fucking
Jaden Daniels was their leading rusher. So if Debo can run the ball as well,
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a really good sign.
I
And they traded for Toronto. Oh my God, I'm saying every tackle's name except for his name.
Jeremy Tunzel.
Laremy Tunzel. Why are the Texans trading Laremy Tunzel?
No, it was actually a W move. I saw a video breaking it down. I did see a video breaking it down. So basically, what was the Texans' biggest struggle last year?
Their offensive line.
So that's one of the things they're like, everybody's kind of mad about. They're like the Texans' line sucks, so they're just going to clear house and bring in new, which they really haven't. But I think they're going to draft a tackle. They're probably going to draft like a Will Campbell or something like that. Maybe one of the like.
But they're going to have to trade up if they want to.
Kelvin Banks or Will Campbell, one of those guys might fall to the Texans, like a late first rounder.
I mean, my thing is, very few offensive linemen come in and play like a Laremy Tunzel level in their first season.
Well, you know, Laremy Tunzel led the league in penalties for offensive linemen.
He also led
at 31 years old.
He also led the second least amount of pressures. Like, I feel like I would give up a couple false starts a game when your quarterback's not getting any pressure, especially when you have, other than like maybe the Seahawks, the worst interior offensive line in the league easily.
Yeah, but they got rid of Kenyon Green, which was pretty good.
I just think I get the penalties, but when you have somebody like him, like you're in the draft this year, you might find a prospect who will be good down the line, but offensive linemen don't just come in and play like studs in their rookie year.
Unless they're Joe Alt.
That's what I was just about to say. Unless you're a Joe Alt, because you're used to going against these 19, 20-year-old college players, then you're coming in and blocking Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons and all these players.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think...
I could see him making a trade, too, in the draft, maybe.
I just think it was a terrible idea trading it. Like, I think that was probably the worst move of the offseason.
I don't know. I kind of see it like it would be really frustrating to have a 29-year-old left tackle who's your captain who leads the league in penalties. Like, that's pretty ridiculous.
Allows the second least amount of pressures. I feel like that's something worth giving up whenever you had the second most
I
sacks.
wonder, like...
They had the second most sack quarterback in the league last year other than Caleb Williams.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know who hasn't been signed yet? Is Trey Hendrickson.
Bullshit. Like, hopefully, dude, imagine we get Trey Hendrickson. Oh, my God.
I'm trying to find another good one to talk about here.
Oh, we can go ahead and talk about DK. DK going for a second's badass. You trade a second for DK. And, hey, but the Seahawks drafted him in the second round, too. Or they third round? You might have thought
he was a second rounder.
But so they got their value back.
I also think the main reason he went for a second is because of the contract they were giving him. Like, I saw that the Panthers apparently offered like a 3 and a 5. It was like 4 years, 120. So obviously the Panthers, I mean, the Steelers like destroyed that offer.
Yeah.
But have you seen all the things? It was like DK asked for a contending team with warm weather with a steady quarterback situation, and then he went to the Steelers, which had none of those.
That is funny.
But it's just so out of the ordinary because the Steelers are never people to like trade for a star receiver or sign a star receiver. They normally develop their receiver as a rookie in their young years, and then they let him go. Like they're never buying at receiver. So it was very interesting. And they're going to have George Pickens and DK
The crash out will be fun.
They got to fight over number 14, I think.
And I think George Pickens has to keep it just because of
no,
the
but they
jersey
got
number.
Scrap over.
What do you think about Puka going to 12?
12 is just, I know that's what he wore in college, but 12 is just such
It looks kind of good. Did you see like the video he posted where they edited the 12 in?
It looks...
No, I think it looks good.
I don't like it. we were talking the other day about numbers for receivers. 12 should not be a receiver number.
I don't know. I think 12 looks tough. Like
I wonder what Devontae Adams gave him. Because did you see the clip?
Yeah, 2
on the
million
podcast?
enough.
I wonder
But
what
it
he
is
got.
fun. Like, but dude, Puka's still on like that 5th round pick rookie deal.
Also, the Devontae Adams, I don't think I get it. Like, obviously I get it. Like, if you can get Devontae Adams, go get him. But Puka wasn't like Cooper Kupp, like where he's really in the slot. Like, Puka's an outside guy.
Yeah.
You got another outside guy. Like, I feel like I don't know. Like, it was just so weird.
It is weird, but
Like, I don't know who's the number one target now. Like, it's probably Puka because he's developed the chemistry, but you have one of the best receivers for the last decade on the other side of the field. Like,
and that's the thing. That's the argument. Like, not that it's an argument, but that's the argument with Devontae Adams. It's like, how do you not get the guy who everybody has in his top 5 for the last 10 years? You know,
no, it's not that I necessarily think it's a bad signing. It's more
weird.
just I don't understand what the offense is going to look like because last year the offense was heavily schemed around Puka. Like, the first drive of the game, the first throw of the game was going to Puka every time.
Yeah.
Like, so is it? I don't know. I'm just very curious to see what the Rams offense is going to look like, basically.
But what I do want to say is, shout out Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield has helped so many quarterbacks get paid. Obviously,
I agree.
So you have what I think is really funny is you have Brady come in to the Buccaneers first year, win a Super Bowl. The following year, Stafford comes in first year and wins a Super Bowl. And you see so many teams try to copy that.
Mm-hmm.
The Falcons with Kirk, the Browns with Deshaun Watson. Like, you see a bunch of, we've seen a bunch of examples of this that hasn't kind of worked. But then you see examples of, we got a good roster. Baker was a first overall pick. Let's try bringing him in. Geno Smith, he was a backup for years, comes in, plays good. You stay with him, first round talent. Obviously, Geno and Baker were kind of starting that together. Geno hasn't won a playoff game or been to the playoffs, so that's the
Geno
difference.
had been on that team for a long time.
Yeah.
Baker was taking a chance, and I think you're right in that sense because I feel like these Sam Darnold guys, these Justin Fields, these guys probably aren't getting these opportunities without Baker coming into
Because you
Tampa.
used to see no team is wanting to draft a second-round quarterback and develop them, which I think is so dumb. I think that is so crazy dumb that, Joe Montana was maybe a third-round pick out of Notre Dame.
I couldn't tell you where Joe Montana was picked. I wasn't even alive. So, dude, you know
What round was Joe Montana drafted in? 83rd round, 82nd pick.
Damn.
One of the best quarterbacks. Steve Young. There's that. You
I also
develop
just
guys.
feel like, I just feel
game's
like
changed.
back then quarterbacks were just so different. Like,
But also, too, your team stayed the same every year.
Yeah.
You didn't there weren't these free
teams weren't
agency
just throwing
signings.
$100 million at each other. You know who has had a very good offseason is the Denver Broncos.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Adding Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga to a defense that was already great, by the way.
Yeah.
And then they got Evan Ingram. Tight end was the biggest hole in their offense this year. They got a damn good tight end who had 100 receptions a couple years ago.
Evan Ingram's a dog, dude.
I think that's a really good signing.
Yeah, I mean, a security blanket tight end for a young quarterback is the best thing you can do. And Dre Greenlaw and Hufanga both have played in big games, which you need that for a young defense. Very, very young Broncos defense, which you also don't know. They had a really good year last year. Very young team. It could have been a lucky year. So kind of to help from that fall off, the second year jitters, bringing in guys like that, they're going to have one of the best defenses in the league.
Once the Raiders got Geno, I was kind of like, damn, Broncos might not be able to do what they did last year. But then the Broncos went out and had one of the best free agencies in the league, in my opinion. That division is going to be weird because you got Harbaugh with the Harbaugh and Herbert with the Chargers, where they were pretty good last year, but they weren't a dominant. I like them bringing back Mike Williams. I think Mike Williams is a Chargers receiver. If he's on the Chargers, he's going to be playing good. If he's anywhere else, it's just not going to be the same. But let's be real, they didn't get one of these crazy targets,
Dude, the fact, they didn't get Devontae Adams, which was apparently the big rumor. And Devontae Adams said, I want to play in LA. He's like, I want to do this, I want to do this. And then literally the fucking Chargers have more money than the Rams, have more to offer, and they let him play in the same city, same stadium.
If there's any quarterback you want to play for, though, it's Matt Stafford.
Oh, I agree.
Matt Stafford's going to throw you the ball.
Oh, I agree.
I kind of like the Giants free agency, too, because the Giants...
Javon Holland,
and
then you said Adebimo.
The Giants' defense wasn't great last year, but they have pieces on that defense. It was just their secondary was
Brian
terrible.
Burns, Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, and Tyler Newman broke out last year.
Yep.
Deontay Banks isn't going to be their number one corner anymore because they brought in Debo. They added Javon Holland. What was the other rookie they got? They got Tyler Newman and Drew Phillips.
Oh, and Pinnock. Their young safety's pretty good too.
Yeah, but those two guys I just listed had very good rookies. I think the Giants defense could be sleepy next year. It's just Gonna depend what they do.
So
on
this
offense.
is, we can do a little bit of predictions real quick because this is fun. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers.
Russell Wilson's a Brown. Aaron Rodgers is a Steeler.
Really?
Russell Wilson's scheduled to meet with the Browns today, I think.
That's so funny.
And I mean, like, where
So
is Rodgers gonna go other than the Steelers?
Giants. It's gonna be one of those.
Yeah,
two.
I kind of forgot. I just don't see the Giants. Like, I feel like
Draft
that's-
Shador. Draft Shador at 2, bro. I know
Nah.
you're low on Shador. If they don't draft Shador at 3, I'm like,
it's not that I don't think Shador's a first-round talent. I just think if you're at 3 and you have Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter still on the board, you're
have
an
to
idiot.
take him.
You're an idiot not to take
see,
him.
I agree. You take best talent. It's hard not to. Like,
I get you need a quarterback, but I'd rather get one of the best prospects coming in and take a chance on a Jackson Dart or somebody in the second round.
I think it is crazy. Like, the Titans are not even thinking about Travis Hunter at 1.
Yeah, I think they're
gonna get Cam Ward.
I could see them trading out.
Why not trade down to 3?
I just think
You know what I'm saying?
this
I
isn't the
would
best-
think is I'm gonna trade down to 3, and I'm either gonna get Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, and Abdul Carter. They're all gonna be pretty good. I'm gonna let the other 2
and I
decide
think
for me.
and I think that
And then
works.
bring in a second?
I think that works for both parties too, because in the Giants, they get Cam Ward, they
Yep.
get their quarterback. I just think also with this not being the strongest quarterback class and seeing some of the quarterback classes we've had recently, like last season, and Arch Manning's going to be coming in next year, like why not trade out of it, be bad for one more year, and then wait for a more heavy quarterback class, and then go sign a
and
Kirk,
Tennessee, Will Levis sucks.
but go get Kirk Cousins or something like.
I don't know. I give Will Levis another fucking year.
Dude, no, he's really bad.
He's so bad. That was his second season, dude. Like same thing
Okay,
with
but
Kenny
there's
Pickett.
like bad second seasons, and
But
then there's
honestly,
Will Levis
here's
second
the
seasons.
argument with Will Levis. He has a dog offensive coordinator. Their coach, former
Brian
Bengals OC,
Callahan.
Brian Callahan. I really like Brian Callahan. He's a very good offensive mind, so that kind of does suck. But no receivers. Like I wouldn't mind them giving Will Levis another year, bringing Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter. Might as well.
Yeah. I don't know. My thing with Shador, I think Jackson Dart is closer to Shador's talent than Shador is to Cam Ward's talent.
I don't even think that's necessary. No, I think that's wrong because I honestly think Jackson Dart's the second best quarterback. I think I'm just
Over
not.
Shador?
No, Shador's 1. Shador, I think, is easily the best quarterback in this class. I'm not high on Cam Ward at all. Bro. They do this all day when I'm working, by the way.
I don't know. I just think, dude, no, Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is the clear-cut #1 quarterback coming out of the draft.
Shador is a better passer, though, easily. Easily. It's not even questionable.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't think. I think Shador's gonna be good. Don't get me wrong. I just don't.
So what's
think,
the flaw in Shador's game, in your opinion? Because I can tell you Cam Ward's flaws.
I mean, I think they both have flaws. I don't know. I just don't think Shador is necessarily gonna come in as a starter and be able. I think Cam Ward can come in and be good as a starter, like we've seen with Jaden Daniels, C.J. Stroud, all these other players. And I think
Hey, shut up!
I just think Shador isn't like ready to be your one starter.
I don't think Cam Ward is either. I don't think any of those guys.
I think rookies more often than not should sit anyway.
Yeah.
But I just think if a team reaches for Shador top 3 and throws him in year 1, he's not gonna be good.
I feel like, I don't know. I think we will see, because... Damn it! We lost KJ Britt.
Yeah,
Sucks.
that's-
Oh! We got Anthony Walker!
Oh,
From
that's
the
actually-
Dolphins.
That's actually a
So
good
we
signing.
we lost KJ Britt, who is very bad open
I
like middle
Anthony
field.
Walker.
Great signing. Great
Yeah.
dude. We solved our middle linebacker problem because we still have Dennis coming back. Oh my gosh. Well, when the middle of the field really went was when Dennis got hurt. He's number 8 on the Bucks. I couldn't tell you his first name. Dude, we have another guy.
Yeah, so that's
Go!
gonna help a lot.
Let's go, dude. That's awesome.
I need to make sure there weren't any big ones that we missed. Joey Bosa to the Bills. I really don't like that signing.
Just
honestly.
another Von Miller.
I just don't. Yeah, like whenever I texted you, I said
I would have loved the Buccaneers to get him just on a 1-year deal.
When I texted you, they got the white Von Miller, and the Colts got the white Anthony Richardson.
So funny. They had the bottom 2 quarterback ratings.
Daniel Jones is literally white Anthony Richardson.
Who do you think they start? Do you think they bring in Daniel Jones and
I
say
think it's like a quarterback competition.
but it's Anthony Richardson's job?
I personally think they'd be dumb if you're gonna take Anthony Richardson number 4 overall because of his raw talent. You knew you were drafting somebody that you needed to develop.
Yep.
I think he had 2 bad years and he's had injury issues, but you knew he wasn't like a guaranteed top guy. You were taking him on upside. Give him his chance.
I just think
don't bench him after
what
2
I think
seasons.
kills. I think subbing himself out, dude. Still to this day,
I think people look at that too.
no.
I'd rather my quarterback be like, "Hey, I'm not gonna be able to do what you need me to do on the next play," take me out and we have a better chance to win.
I agree. I agree. It's not that dumb. You see NBA players sit out games. You see all the. I absolutely get it. You see pitchers. People have talked about like, why don't you just bring in Andy Dalton, fucking, Kirk Cousins, all these guys who are only good for a game or so, and have like a pitcher and have an old quarterback play a game, and then once they lose their hot hand, put somebody else in. I think that kind of stuff is interesting. But Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. I'm just trying to think of mental dogs. Joe Burrow. Are those guys ever going to tap themselves out of a play?
I mean, no, but I'm like...
Never. On a third down, let alone...
I mean, I know I'm not...
Third and goal?
I don't
Crazy.
disagree with you, but I just think, like, it's unfair to, like, hold this guy to this one thing he did one time in his second year and say that he should get benched because of it whenever you're like, he played bad.
No, I think
like,
I agree with what we said about Daniel Jones is, but that's why I like them bringing in Daniel Jones to fix his Anthony Richardson. Clearly, you got to fix his attitude a little bit with that. Like thinking,
that was before he got benched, though.
Yeah,
after he got benched, he came back and here's my thing is
thinking you have the right, bro, as a second-year quarterback. Like thinking you have that right. Like second-year quarterbacks should still be hesitant about their fucking job, let alone when you've played like Anthony Richardson. It's another thing. Like if Brady did it, everybody'd be like, he's the fucking GOAT. That's weird. It makes sense, dude. You haven't proved yourself at all.
I feel like I just think my problem with it is Anthony Richardson had a very bad year, to be honest, and everybody is holding this one thing he did one time, which I think obviously you shouldn't do. But like I said earlier, I'd rather you tap out than go in and not convert a third down because you don't have the energy to do it. But if you're going to shit on Anthony Richardson for anything, shit on him for his numbers and playing like a bad quarterback instead of one mistake he made tapping himself out after a play because he was exhausted.
Which I'll shit on him for that. But
I think
here's a counter argument to what you
hard.
just said. No, people are falling on it hard. I'm tough on it for sure. But like I just said, Anthony Richardson has. So wait, I had a good point and I forgot about it. Oh, how you just said. What they drafted Anthony Richardson for raw talent that they knew they'd have to develop. So imagine they expect him to like do some dumb shit sometimes. They don't expect this raw talent, this guy who ran a 4.4 40, had the highest bench reps. Who think about it, 4.4 40, highest bench reps, built like Cam Newton to tap himself out. They would expect him. Him throwing a pick there is better in their minds because that's what they expect, right? They don't expect their quarterback to do that. What about their left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle?
Offensive linemen are getting rotated all game.
Not really.
Yes, they are. Offensive linemen do not play every snap of every game.
It's
the only position that plays every snap of every game is quarterback.
That's not true.
That is
centers.
true.
Most centers play every snap. Jason Kelsey played every snap.
Okay, I guess center's fair, but left tackles and guards get rotated.
Tristan Wirfs never gets rotated. You do see it like the Lions, but Penei Sewell, if he gets rotated, it's because they're doing like Penei Sewell plays every snap.
And also, I get your thing with offensive linemen. The offensive linemen are working hard, but they're not running. Like, obviously, they're not walking, and they are running on certain plays.
It's a good argument. What's more tiring,
they're not running around, like, he was against the Texans pass rush. Like,
I know.
That Texans pass rush is not a joke. Like, I don't know. Obviously, I don't think you should tap yourself out of a game. I just think people are reaching so hard on it. Like, I just don't think it's as big of a deal.
So, what do you think is what's the middle ground between the reaching and being right?
I think
it's bringing in Daniel Jones to give him a quarterback competition.
Exactly. Fair? Like I think it should be like Anthony Richardson probably needs a little bit more fire under him, but he already got that because he got benched, came back, and looked like he cared a lot more about the game.
Yeah, he did.
And I think like if you're gonna hold Anthony Richardson against anything, hold him against the fact that he had a 40% completion percentage, and not that he tapped himself out for one play whenever he thought he'd be hurting the team by staying in. Like I don't know. I feel like it. I don't know.
Also, too, though. Think about this. This is funny. We'll move on because we've been blabbing about this. But this is funny. I just thought about this. Do you think in the exact moment it was, I need to sub myself out because I'm tired, I'm going to do bad? Or do you think the initial reaction is, oh, I'm so tired? I don't think your brain is thinking that deep into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the he's probably just, I'm tired. Like, I don't think he's necessarily in the moment thought he's stepping out to help the team. I think it was kind of selfish that he was tired. But with that being said, if he is tired, it could
yeah, and also knowing the way they run their offense, you don't know what they're going to ask Anthony Richardson to. For example, after Anthony Richardson came back from injury against the Steelers, he had a play where he ran the ball, got hit hard as shit by, I think it was Minka, was on the ground for a minute, had to go to the sideline for a play. Joe Flacco came and took a snap. Anthony Richardson comes back in. They call an RPO. Anthony Richardson runs the ball again and gets injured. Like,
I'm just making sure I don't have any.
No, you're good. I have a text to read anyway. So.
Okay. We're getting on started in a minute.
I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, you don't know what they're gonna ask Anthony Richardson to do on the following play where he feels like he literally can't do anything more because, like I said, in the Steelers game, he ran the ball, got hit by Minka, got injured for a little bit. Like it wasn't like an injury, but he got shaken up. He had to sit out for a play. They brought in Joe Flacco for a snap. They bring AR back in. First play calls an RPO. Anthony Richardson runs the ball and gets injured. Like maybe there's a little bit of him where he's like, holy fuck, I'm so tired, and they're about to make me run the ball into a linebacker and die. Like I don't know. You're probably right where he's probably not thinking that hard, and he's probably just like, damn, I'm tired. But knowing their offense, like there's a good chance that their play call is gonna be requiring him to do a lot.
Well, also too, what the Colts need to do this offseason is perfect the tush push. That'd be not a bad thing to implement because Anthony Richardson
was an excellent runner last year. Like,
yeah.
If he could just learn to throw
Dude,
the ball.
I think every 2-point conversion where they ran an outside zone with Anthony Richardson, he fucking got. He's a dog, bro.
No, he is a dog. I'm trying to. Oh, CJ Gardner-Johnson to the Texans. Dude, I saw an Eagles fan crashing out over that because it was like, we went to the Super Bowl with CJ Gardner-Johnson, let him go to Detroit, lost in the wild card, and then we win the Super Bowl with him, and then we're going to let him go again. Like,
that is funny. So
I like that signing, though.
But the Texans used the pick they got from Laramie Tunsil for it.
Yeah, I don't even know what they traded for it.
The fourth they got from
Eagles receive a 5th, and the Texans get a 6th. So it's just a pick swap.
Yeah, but the 5th they got from.
Yeah,
so it wasn't even their 5th. Wow, that's awesome.
Let's see, anything we missed? Oh, the Colts, honestly, I don't like the Colts free agency because you got Byron Murphy and Charvarius Ward, and secondary was a big problem.
Byron Murphy, I thought you re-signed with.
Or I'm sorry, Cam Bynum. You got Cam Bynum and Charvarius Ward when I just think, like, you're more than likely not going to be a very good team in the next, like, 2 seasons. I think you need a couple more pieces, and you're still figuring out Anthony Richardson. I don't think going out and paying 2 corners, especially somebody like Charvarius Ward who's, like, 30.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm also a little salty because I wanted Charvarius Ward and I wanted Cam Bynum back, so maybe that's why. And if Laiatu Latu can, play a little better this season, be a really good pass rusher, I mean, they'll have a really good defense.
It is crazy there weren't that many. Who do you think's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year?
This year?
Oh, who won it? Was it
It was Jared Verse.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I think it was crazy that it wasn't Quinyon Mitchell because I think Quinyon Mitchell played like one of the best corners in the league as a rookie.
Yeah, Quinyon Mitchell did ball.
Dude, the Eagles just know how to draft. Like, so crazy.
The Eagles are probably the best.
Well, here's why.
The Eagles have more players under $60 million+ deals than like any other team. Like they just know how to know how to restructure. Bro, Jason Kelsey's talked about it, where they know how they're like, hey, Jalen Hurts, this is your deal.
They have the best.
But we're gonna pay you most of it up front, and then every quarterback's like, fuck yeah, and then I'll just make $10 million the next 2 years.
However, the Eagles have signed 0 free agents.
They probably don't have a lot of extra.
What I will say though, the reason the Eagles are so good at drafting, and it's like teams like this and teams like the Ravens, like when they get to their draft pick, they're not sitting there thinking, what holes do we have on the roster? What do we like? They're like,
take the best talent.
Like they traded up for Cooper DeJean. Like they already drafted a corner and made their secondary better, but they're like, this prospect is a dog. Like, and they traded up in the second round and got him. Like I just think that's I remember I saw this clip. Like they traded up in the second round, and then the Rams traded up to the pick right before where they traded up to, and they were like, oh my god, we lost him. And then they took Fisk, and they were all celebrating, which is crazy because they were both really good picks.
Brandon Fisk, I really like. Brandon Fisk is a dog, dude.
No, like both of them traded up and made good picks. Dude, the Rams also might be the best team in drafting.
The Rams are another. Sean McVay knows talent. Like, have you seen them talking about Puka? Mm-hmm. And he's like, I need a guy who's going to get in there, block, but also be able to catch a screen and run, and also catch a D. Like, he literally saw his film and described what he was going to do with Puka. I guarantee you did not think Puka would be a top 3 to 5 receiver in the league, but also, does a 17 kill his aura?
No. But, all right, last question for you. We got probably a few big names. We have Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. Like, where do you think those guys are going to be ending up?
Kirk Cousins is going to stay in Atlanta.
He's going to be the backup?
Yeah, he's going to be a backup. He's going to be the most expensive.
$180 million backup, though?
They'll restructure. Kirk will restructure.
I don't know.
I don't think a team's going to take a risk on Kirk, unless if it's the Cleveland Browns. So Kirk will either be a Cleveland Browns starter or a Falcons backup, guaranteed. Aaron Rodgers, I really like to the Steelers. That just makes sense, Like
I thought he was going to go to the Steelers whenever he was leaving Green Bay.
That'd be really. I think that would, and I think
that's what the Steelers like to do. They refuse to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, which is funny. And George Pickens says he wants to play with Aaron Rodgers. I wonder if that makes any difference. Like if they listen to their star receivers on kind of who they want, or like Justin Jefferson. Do you think they asked Justin Jefferson at all? Like when they had the 10th pick, like what do you think about JJ McCart? Like
I'm sure they do. I mean, like because Puka said on the Monra podcast that they called him, were like, hey, how do you feel about us getting Devontae Adams?
That's interesting.
He was probably like, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's basically what he said. He was like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. They're gonna double him.
Dude, I read
time.
something and it was like Garrett Wilson no longer wants to be traded now that Aaron Rodgers is out of the picture. I was like, dude, imagine reading that sentence like 3 or 4
So
years
Russell
ago.
Wilson being a Brown kind of makes sense. I can see him maybe Giants. Maybe like it's funny. It's like Aaron.
I think he's supposed to meet with the Giants too. He also met with the Giants last year.
And then who else did we say?
Cooper Kupp and Stephon Diggs.
Cooper Kupp, Panthers. Dave Canales would cook with Cooper
I
Kupp.
personally think Cooper Kupp is a Patriot. I think they're
just going to give him too much of a bag.
They have so much money. And they've been sending money at all these receivers.
And that's a Patriots receiver right there, Cooper Kupp. And then who was the last one?
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, he's going to go. Back to Buffalo would be kind of cool.
I think he's a Cowboy.
You think there's any chance he goes back to Buffalo? Or you think he wants to go play with his brother?
He won't go to Buffalo. It's not even just that. I mean, Cowboys really need a receiver too. He'll get to play with his brother. I mean, it's a pass-heavy offense. I think Stephon Diggs is a Cowboy.
Isn't it crazy? Trayvon Diggs was recruited as a receiver.
Yeah,
he didn't move till corner till sophomore year. So he played Alabama freshman receiver. How funny is that?
I don't know. Also speaking of the Cowboys, the only move you've made is signing Javonte Williams, who since his injury has been insanely washed. You let Rico Dowdle go. You lost DeMarcus Lawrence. Zach Martin retired. They signed Kyer Elam, which I mean is.
Have you seen where Jerry Jones did the Black Beetle challenge, and it was like what Jerry Jones is doing all off season, and like it's them and a private judge.
I have seen that, but like Kyer Elam, I don't relate.
No,
Kyer Elam isn't that guy. I don't know. Cowboys are just
washed
doing their Cowboy stuff.
So who's had the worst free agency?
I mean, technically the Eagles, because the Eagles have only lost players.
Yeah,
but outside of that, Dallas. I mean, the Cleveland hasn't really done anything, but that's to be expected.
I mean, dude, and Cleveland?
Dude, the Titans paid the Steelers offensive tackle more. I don't remember his first name. He was ranked like the 30s, like he was ranked in like the 40th of offensive linemen from PFF, and he got paid like the 5th highest tackle contract of all time.
From who?
The Titans.
He was from where did he go to? The Titans?
He was on Pittsburgh, and now he's on the Titans.
I wonder what
his name might be like Dan Moore. Hang on, I'm looking it up. Yeah. I want to see what his contract was.
Because I don't even know who Dan Moore is, honestly.
I mean, he's been decent, and he wasn't supposed to play this year, but then their rookie got hurt. What was the rookie tackle they drafted this year? Not Broderick Jones.
Oh, now one of like the dude from
he had like
the dude from Washington, right?
Yeah, he has a weird name, but he was injured, so Dan Moore got to play again. He signed. Yo, this website sucks ass. I just want to see what his contract was. Is that so hard? 4-year, $82 million deal, including $50 million guaranteed.
Wow, that's crazy. We'll finish off on this. Let's each say our favorite free agency signing besides our teams.
Okay,
or a free agency move. I had mine in my head.
Dan Moore was the 46th graded offensive tackle last year.
Wow. I literally lost my one that I was like, oh, that was so good. I really like that they did that. Shit. I'm so annoyed. I literally asked a question because I had a
have a few. I mean, you said earlier that you think the best one was Jonathan Allen.
Yeah, Jonathan Allen's. But Geno Smith, I really like. God, what was it? I don't know.
I really like Hassan Reddick to the Bucks. I think that's gonna end up being a heavy. Oh, I really my favorite is probably Harold Landry to the Patriots. Going back to play with Vrabel, he's been good whenever he's healthy. I think he's gonna have a great season in New England. Dude, the Patriots built a nasty defense. If they could work on that offensive line and get a Cooper Kupp, I mean, they obviously won't be a playoff team or anything, but 8 wins in Drake May's first full year as a starter would be pretty nice.
I'm so annoyed that I can't think of what my favorite was. I even was like, I feel like this is.
I like Najee to the Chargers too.
Yeah, I do like
Mike Williams back to the Chargers. I like.
See, the Chargers made some good moves.
Evan Ingram was a good signing. Talanoa Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw.
I might just have to.
Like, there's been very few bad signings.
I might have to look it up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look at all of them and just talk about my favorites while you try to remember that. But yeah, that Dan Moore signing was actually insane.
Oh, Mitchell or what's his face? Mason Rudolph back to the Steelers. Harrison Smith back to the Vikings. That's cool.
Yeah, I saw that. DJ Reed to the Lions, by the way.
And AJ Dillon to the Eagles. That's fun.
That was a cool signing. But I really like DJ Reed to the Lions. We didn't talk about that one.
Yeah,
That's
that is
really
a good signing.
Oh, I know what you might be thinking of. You really liked that linebacker from Vegas going in.
Robert Spillane. No,
Yeah.
that I do really like that one. That's like my sleeper, but that is not the one I was thinking of. I have no clue. I was like, that is just.
I don't know. I think though the teams that have easily had the best free agencies, Chicago, Minnesota, and Denver.
Yeah, I agree, bro.
You know what I haven't seen posted or talked about at all? Jeremy Chin signed a 1-year deal with the Raiders, and nobody's talking about that. I like that signing too.
I do like that signing a lot. I have no clue what I was thinking of.
Well, just think off the top of your head which ones you like then.
I'm going to go with the Geno for a third, dude, when you need a quarterback, and then you don't have to reach on a guy young, and then you can let Geno play for 2 years, and then develop talent around him, and then draft a quarterback in 2 or 3 years.
Take Quinn Ewers or somebody like that. Yeah. That's it for this one.
Boom!
Boom.